This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books. Hi, welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Sarah. And today we have with us Anna White. Welcome, Anna.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
We're excited to have you. We always love talking to writers, and I think you are our first executive producer. So that is going to be really, I think,
well, that's exciting because this was my first executive producer credit I've gotten, so it's a win-win.
That's exciting. I'm going to tell you, we know nothing about executive producing. So anything you want to enlighten us on?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you, there's quite a few on this one, but so sometimes it's a title for title's sake, and then sometimes what's cool about this one is because me and Amanda Klutz developed it from the very beginning. It's a very like, hey, you have a say in all of this producer credit, which was great because so often you write these and then someone else takes them and they're like, oh, we don't need this plot line that makes sense. And so it's really nice to be there and be like, oh, let's keep this, and if we're gonna change this, maybe change that later so that it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. What, you'd like the storyline to make sense from the beginning to the end?
It's a weird writer quirk. Like I like, you know, we all have our faults, but I love when a story is coherent.
What? Sarah and I both maybe have issues with the incoherent storylines. You'll be like, say what? Exactly.
Let me tell you, whenever you're watching one of these Christmas movies and you're like, what? I can guarantee you it was either a network note or someone on set was just like, we don't need this script anymore. And as a writer, it's just, it's so funny because I came up actually assisting in television, scripted TV. And in there, the writer's king. The writer has say, the writer's on set every day. In television writing, it's that. And then I came to TV movies, and it's really the producer's medium, like the production company has all the final say kind of in the network. Yes. And they're kind of like, okay, you wrote it, goodbye. So it was really nice being an executive producer on this one and getting to go to set every day and being there and giving my 2 cents and being like, well, you know, there's a reason CBS wanted it this way, so let's maybe keep it that way.
Yeah. No, I love that. So for me, I like the whole piece of things. And so to give things up would be really hard for me. I could see how being an executive producer would actually help you weave together the whole project and make it feel a little more cohesive.
Yes, definitely. I mean, because we were there from like the beginning of the idea until I just watched the final cut the other day. Like it's cool being there for the whole process. I really, really like that. And I hope going forward in all my projects, it's something I can do because it's so much more enjoyable. And it doesn't mean you're not collaborative. I'm not like egotistical about my words. If the words need to change, if we need to cut it here, that's cool. But then now I know if we're cutting here, this needs to make sense later. So let's just tweak this line. Like, I think it's helpful to be on set as a writer. Everyone has their own opinion.
Right. No, I can totally see why it would be helpful. Also, once again, Sarah and I both like cohesive storylines, and so we hate when something gets dropped, like, and you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah, where did that go? Didn't they have a dad? Yeah.
Or just like everything just changes, you know, they go instead of towards the left.
They just went that way, and you're like, wait, how did we get there? Oh, we didn't.
Yeah. It's so funny because like one of the first times I ever tried writing one of these, I did the mistake of where I would just introduce people for one scene. And I learned really quickly, like, you can't do that. They need to be recurring characters, 1 for like budget wise and 2 story wise and stuff like that. So there's so much you learn as a writer as you keep writing these that help you tell the complete story too.
Right. I suppose you can't have 5 million people there coming on one little bit at a time, and then you have to have all those people on set, right?
You can have a baker and a candlestick maker, like combine them.
That's actually what you're going to have in your movie.
That would be funny. Actually, my next Christmas movie is about a baker that falls in love with a candlestick maker.
Yeah. But it's going to have to be like, just to do it contemporary, it's going to be like, I have the essential oils.
Yeah, it's a multi-level marketing candle maker.
Let's get this going. Let's get this project going.
I love it.
This is funny.
No, this is
good brainstorming. This is how ideas happen. This is how magic happens.
This is how we work. So this is perfect. We're
I
all
love
in.
it. I love it.
Well, before you like ditch the question sheet.
Yeah, forget it. Like, don't even like. How are you guys? What's up? What's new?
we always start out researching and then and looking at everybody's work, and then it lets us just have conversations like this. Then you can be like, so
I love it. You need a jumping off point.
Right. Should we actually talk about your Christmas movie?
That would be good. I do want people to I want people to watch it.
Right.
Fit for Christmas, December 4th. We're on after double football. I'm sure there's a better way. They probably say like double header. I don't know what the term is, but 2 football games in a row and then our movie.
So it's Sunday night football. It's just the normal football showing on CBS. It's their normal coverage. It'll be after the second game. So the start time. So the one thing that does leave you is the start time can be a little bit give or take because it's after the football game gets done.
Yeah. Oh, let me call the play. I don't know if you know the teams yet, but let me just say no overtime, no anything, no none of that. Everyone wants to watch Fit for Christmas.
We need Christmas movies now.
And it's such a good beginning. You don't want to miss the beginning.
Yeah. Well, they'll show the whole thing. It just will start whenever their time frame.
I hope people will just like leave the TV on, like who are watching, like what 8 million plus people watch Sunday Night Football, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" Or like, "Honey, I think there's a Christmas movie on." Or and the honey could be male or female, like maybe and who knows who watches football? Who knows who watches Christmas? Anyone.
Right? No, for sure.
Grab an audience that isn't already into the Christmas movie scene. So
yes,
I think that will be fun. So we know that Jax is the star.
Yes.
Our buddy Jacqueline Collier, right?
I love it. Yeah, Jackie stars in it.
Yeah, and then her character's name is
Jackie.
Oh, Jackie. Well, it's so funny because I mean I know she's Jax on all the podcasts, but she I always call her Jackie. So it's because I don't know if you know this, but she introduced me to Amanda Klutz. So
she told us that.
Okay, she did. Okay, good. I'm glad she's taking credit for the fact this movie exists because she should.
She basically created the whole thing.
She basically, and you know what? She wrote every single draft, and she was on every notes. I'm just kidding.
Fully executive producing.
Oh yeah, right. No. She was great because so the whole reason this movie happened was Amanda Klutz was watching a Christmas movie in like July of 2020 after, I don't know if you know her story, but she lost her husband to COVID and she'd been through a lot. And she put on social media and watching this Christmas movie. And then, so Jax was like, "Oh, come on Bubbly Sesh." And then it was on Bubbly Sesh that she said, "I have this Christmas idea." And then, so Jax was like, "Oh, I know a great writer." And then we were introduced via email. And then I got on a Zoom with Amanda and she told me the basic premise she had in mind. And we kind of like made it a synopsis of it and then took it to CBS. And then a year and a half later, we made it.
Okay, so you just took it to CBS right away. It was never going anywhere else.
Well, it's so funny because originally I was like, "Oh, this is Hallmark," and I think even Amanda thought that. But because she had just gotten hired on The Talk on CBS, she had kind of a first look deal of like, "Oh, take it to CBS first." And unbeknownst to me, CBS had done 3 movies the year before. Mm-hmm. So they were already getting in the Christmas game. I had no idea. And that was actually one of the things I said once they greenlit our movie. I was like, "Can you promote our movie more than you promoted your other movies that I'd never heard of?" I didn't say it like that, but...
Yes, that's what you meant.
Promotion.
I was like, what about this year we tell people CBS's Christmas movies?
That we actually know there's going to be Christmas movies on the network.
Yes, where people can turn on CBS, Columbia Broadcasting System, and watch it.
Like I'm a little child, and those are the only
right. Those are the only there's 5 channels, right?
Right.
I have to try to remember how to turn my cable on.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay. I won't even talk about the fact that I can remember not having cable. So okay.
Oh, I remember not having cable. I just have to find the right remote because my kids.
Well, there's so many, and then one turns the box on, but then
exactly.
thing on, and then if you do the other, then it goes off. And exactly.
Yeah. It's just going to take me like 1 or 2 times to practice. So I'll practice before December 4th so that
Practice or just put on the football game.
the football game will probably be on. So I'm set.
Just leave it. Just leave it there.
I'll encourage my husband to watch the football game that day.
I love it. When our executive said we're going to be on after football, I got excited because when The Office premiered their episode after the Super Bowl, it was the most views like anything on network TV ever got. And then the network exec was like, well, this isn't the Super Bowl. This is just Sunday Night Football. So, manage your expectations. And I was like, okay.
But still, it's
a lot of
Sunday Night Football. So many people with their TVs on. And then it is Christmas season. You're looking to do something with the family. And so I actually think it's a spectacular option. You reach so many more screens than a lot of the other platforms. And you're going to reach them live. So that's kind of crazy. Actually, I'm super pumped to see like how this works out.
I know. I'm excited too, because I want it to do well so we can do another one with them. So it's like, and I want it to do well and I want people to enjoy the movie. There's a lot writing on this.
Yeah.
So was it difficult to write a script with somebody else coming to tell you their idea? Was that harder to do?
No, so a lot of the other movies, I would say it's about maybe like a third of them I've pitched original ideas, and the rest are usually producers or production companies have a premise that they want to do and they hire a writer for. So I was kind of used to, hey, this is the basic idea I have. How do we make it a movie? So I had practice doing that, which was great. And then Amanda's really cool and she's really smart and she's really creative and she really wanted a hand in everything. So she was on, because I think I turned in like treatments and got notes on those, and turned in outlines and got notes on those, and then had to redo the outline and then like the script, and then they, a month before they're like, let's change everything about the script. So there was just tons of note calls, and Amanda was there for every one of them, and she was like, call me, let's discuss this, let's figure it out. So it was nice. It was like having an always there bouncing board, and she's super creative. And then when we were both in Canada, we could tell we were the two people on set who cared the most about the movie. Because a lot of times the crew, they're hired to do a job. They come, they're like, okay, this is what it's like. This is my job. I clock in, I clock out, and we're like, this is everything. These characters we've lived with for a year and a half. We like have been talking about them. Like, so it was nice to have her on set, and we kind of like lean on each other when maybe there was a decision that we both didn't agree with. We're like, I know this is a fictional world, but this character means everything to us. And would she really do this? Would she wear this? Would she, like stuff like that. So, so that was actually cool, having that partnership. And then she was so cool about like just letting me go off and write the script. And knowing that that's its own process in it of itself. And we had a really good network executive. I never usually like brag about the network executive, but this one, Justin Thompson Tucker, nicest guy in the world. He gave so many notes, but he gave it in the nicest way where you just want to make it better and you want to make them proud. There's networks give notes all the time, and because they have a very clear vision of their brand or what they want. Or sometimes they know what they don't want. They don't know what they do want. And it can be really disheartening as a writer sometimes because you feel like, and I was lucky that like my first screenwriting class, day one, he's like, leave your ego at the door. If you can't learn to take notes, get out of this business. And like, that was so helpful day one of my freshman year screenwriting 101, because that's all this is rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. And so it was just fun having someone who was always there backing me up and stuff.
That's really nice to hear.
I kind of love that process, like that the network person was like giving lots of notes, but they're part of the team. They want it to be better. Like it's a collaborative process. And so when you can give all that information to make something better, I just feel like you get much more positive results than if you feel like everything's a negative.
Totally, 100%. And that's like for any aspiring network executives out there, or people or producers or whatever,
just life, really,
or just in life when you're giving criticism to someone or you want something to be different, come at it in a let's figure this out, let's make it better together, or like here's why it bothers me. I don't have the answer, but maybe you do. Like, it's just so much better than this sucked, or I don't get this, and then good luck, and like. sometimes there are network execs like that, and we're luckily with Fit for Christmas. It was the nicest people. I can't say enough good things about CBS, and not just because I think they might be listening and I want to do another project with them, but also that.
Right. No, but it sounds like a great collaborative effort. And as they're clearly upping their Christmas game. You can see it happening.
Yep.
They're bringing in more people too. They've got a few movies. They've got some pretty good. They've got some pretty good people cast in their movies and their projects, and rolling out the classics besides.
Right.
So I think they're trying to get families to the network for Christmas, and so
I think so too. I think everyone's seeing how well Christmas movies do and how much people want it. And like now I feel like across all the platforms there's like 150 this year. Like it's insane. Like I'm almost like, okay, let's not oversaturate it so that way like people still want it. But no, I'm glad CBS is doing it. And it's really funny because I was a writer's production assistant on a CBS television show like maybe 6 years ago. So I was like a gopher for all these writers on the TV show Elementary. And it's so funny because CBS, I was an employee of CBS back then, but it was such a different relationship. And so it was just really cool being like, oh, now I'm an executive producer. I'm not getting 14 people their coffee every day. Like it was really cool. And it's so funny. When I first pitched it to them, because I was so confused why CBS wanted Christmas movies. And I was like, there's no body drop. There's no dead body at the beginning of this, right? So I feel like all their shows
everything's like, and body, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to write that one, like the like body at the Christmas.
And we'll watch. And
I think that's the next genre that I think maybe Lifetime's going to creep in there first, the horror Christmas thriller. But I felt really lucky.
Lillian in the comments wants to know, how do you handle situations when the script you wrote and your ideas are totally changed?
That's a really good. Usually I spend a day being angry and frustrated. And then I let myself feel that. Because that's important, because it is, no matter what you're doing in your writing, you're putting yourself into it and you're putting your time. And not everyone understands the writing process. So sometimes it can be really frustrating. So I let myself be angry for the day. And then I wake up and be like, I am so grateful that someone is paying me to write a movie. And I kind of like, I'm glad I had like 8 years of being a PA, because I always can go back to like, you want to change the idea? Let's change the idea. I don't want to get those people lunch ever again. The amount of people who ordered soup during the summer and it spilled in my car is astounding. And it's not like then they would offer to have my car clean. It's just like, anyways. So I think about all the times I had to be an assistant, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. And now there's a chance to make it better. And I mean, if you have a blank page, it's like endless opportunity. It's like anything can happen. But if someone's like, you have to be creative and here's the restrictions, you almost have to be more creative.
Right. And
it kind of like, it helps, I don't know, it helps work that muscle, I think.
Right. No, I for sure. Also, now I have this vision in my brain. Where is CBS? Because are you in New York City? Because now I have like the Seinfeld soup line. And
no, I'm in, well, I mean, they have headquarters in New York and LA, but I was a writer's PA in LA. So that's why it's even more astounding that people were ordering soup in 100-degree weather during summer. But, oh my God, this one time as a PA. Sorry, what?
You need to put that into a movie. Like,
oh, I know. If you look at some of my movies where the person starts off in a job they want they're waiting for a promotion for, a lot of times you can see some remnants of my assistant bitterness. In Campfire Christmas, Tori Anderson's character was an assistant who you find out that was good enough to get promoted to be a writer. But the boss just didn't want her to do that because she was such a good assistant. And I've had friends where that happened to. So I sprinkle it in when I can.
We're here for any slight undercurrent of sass all the time. Like,
I love it.
And a little pettiness. Sprinkle in a little pettiness. Well, I'm like, in the time when I'm crying in my car about it, it was hard. But now looking back, I'm so grateful to have paid, quote unquote, those dues, because now on days when it's really hard to write or on days when I'm really frustrated, I know, oh my God, I'm so grateful. So it is good to go back to the petty and then be reminded that I don't have to do that anymore. But sometimes that kind of stuff is like, that's what gets you going and gets your mind racing, then gets you creative again. And
Yeah. I'll
Right.
wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats thinking I forgot to put in the lunch order. So there's a little PTSD too.
That's
That's
probably
rough.
like when I would wait tables. Like when I'm stressed out and I'll wake up and I'm like overwhelmed, like you're in the weeds, and that's my nightmare.
Oh my God, yes. And you're like, oh, did I put the
I
order in?
dropped the tray, like I gave somebody their wrong drink. I don't know. Yeah.
It
So
is,
you
it's
just
like
don't
a
wake up
panic.
thinking you didn't study for the math test. So that's
Yes.
not you.
It's like that.
That's me.
It's exactly like, and people are weird about food.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are, if it's the wrong order, as I'm sure you know, or if it didn't get there in time, or the soup spilled and you didn't go back and get another one, people are weird. Like, have a cracker,
I will just say, a break, that's so novel. Or actually getting to eat something other than the granola bar up from while I watch.
Right? And like this show, CBS paid for their lunches. Like, calm down.
Calm down. Break out the Taylor Swift now song. Right?
Right? That hadn't come out yet. Otherwise, I would have played it really loud for the writer.
Everybody.
So you mentioned you went to school to be a writer or a screenwriter.
Yes.
Okay, so it's something you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I think originally when I was a kid, my dad's a veterinarian, and so I really wanted to be a vet because I loved animals.
Every kid's dream. Yeah.
Every kid's dream. And then I took 9th grade biology, and I was like, oh, I don't care about science. It's like,
My favorite.
right? And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a marine biologist and just swim with sea otters, and that's not technically a full-time job. And so I kind of,
even if it is, it doesn't pay well.
right? Yeah. Around 15 or 16, when I realized my life, what made me happy every day were the TV shows that came on once a week. I was like, I think I have to go into film and TV because it's so cool that you get to just tell stories and exist in other worlds and just So when I was applying for schools, I was like, okay, what has film programs? What's in LA? Because that at that time, not as much was remote, so you had to be in LA or New York. So, I feel really lucky that I got to study what I wanted right away, and then I get to do it now. I mean, it took a while for me to get paid to do it, but if people are out there and they want to be writers, just never, ever, ever give up.
Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Dory Finding Nemo.
Right? Come on. No, I actually kind of love that you knew where you're going. Are you from the California area, or do you have to pack up and move? Or?
Northern California. I was born in Colorado and lived there till I was 9, and then Northern California up at Davis. My dad works at UC Davis Veterinary Hospital. So I can't. So it wasn't too far, but it was far enough away where I was like, I'm on my own.
Yeah, no, that's far enough away to come out of Northern California to go. Yeah. So
where are you guys located?
Oh, I'm in Rhode Island. All the way across.
And then I'm in Minnesota. And so is Catherine.
My brother just got a job in Minnesota. He's going to be moving in January.
We're in the Twin Cities?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. He's going to be moving in January. No one moves in January.
Because everyone's talking about the winters there, but they do a good job plowing the streets in the Twin Cities, right?
Oh, that's if I leave at 6 a.m. and it's not plowed, we're all angry. But and I have to go to work no matter what. We get 31 inches of snow. I have to go to work. I can't not go to work. So. And I work 30.
The Children's Hospital.
Yeah, I work at the Children's Hospital.
Oh, you really have to go to work.
I really have to go to work.
Yeah.
And it's 33 miles besides. So it's get an SUV. Get an SUV if he doesn't have one, and
I'll tell him that. He lived in Boston for a while. He went to school there, so I'm hoping he knows a little bit about the snow. And we were born in Colorado, but
they get dumped on in Boston because no, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get a little longer cold stretch than our places if we get the Arctic blasts for 30 below zero, but we don't always get those. So that's an intermittent thing.
Well, I mean, I love snow, which you couldn't tell because all my movies have fake snow because they shoot them in the summer, but I love real winter. So I'll visit him then.
come visit. You should let me know when you come visit. We'll
I
meet up.
Yeah.
Go find something. Meet at the cool coffee shop by the
Yeah, I
hospital.
was gonna say I love a good coffee shop when I'm visiting new cities. Like you gotta
Right.
you
There's
gotta
a
show around.
cool Italian deli we take people to. Catherine's been there a few
That's
times.
the desserts you always send me pictures of.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh.
casetas. Yeah, delicious.
Okay, that sounds good. This sounds like a fun trip.
Right. Right.
And
Good.
maybe I'll see my brother while I'm there. Maybe I won't.
Right. Come help him move in January.
Right? Oh,
Said
geez.
nobody. Said nobody. She's like, no.
I
Okay.
won't tell him you said any of that.
Right? I won't tell him that. In this movie,
Yes.
is there any like Easter egg, like little thing we should look for, or something in a scene, or the way you wrote something, or anything we should look for?
That's a really good idea. That's funny. I feel like I put so much of little things in my life, like that the clip that came out of Amanda saying the recreation center was built in 1954. That's because my mom was born in 1954. So there's like I always put like little things like that. But there's this great runner where Amanda's character Audrey hates blueberry scones that have lemon zest in them. And that's something I'm very passionate about.
Blueberry lemon is a classic baking combo.
No, lemon doesn't belong in my scone. I don't want the citrus. I want the crumbly, and I can have the blueberry. I do not want the lemon. I don't want it. And so it was funny because it derived from a note we got early on where Justin's like, let's have something so subtle that they both can agree on, because they both basically, of course, hate each other at the beginning. Right. And they're like, what's a fun thing they can both like? And Audrey, her best friend, runs a coffee shop, right? So I was like, let me just slip this in. And what was really ironic was on the day on set, the props guy was showing me the blueberry scones. And he's like, you want to know something ironic? And I was like, what? He's like, these have lemon zest in them.
Of course they do.
And I was like,
authentic. It's a classic.
Oh my God. I was just like, well, I mean, luckily I don't think we see them eat any, but that would have taken some real acting on their part, on Paul Green and Amanda. Which they both can do. They're both great. I love them both so much.
Yes. Yeah, we love Paul. Paul was our first celebrity guest, I guess you could say. Yep, on the podcast. He's very sweet.
I love Paul.
Yeah. I would love to. I always say I'd love to like hang out with Paul. I just think he would be hysterical.
Let me tell you, we had some late night hangouts, and he is a hoot.
Yeah.
He does this thing where he says he hates musicals, and then he sang Hamilton on the way back to the hotel. So it's like, okay, Paul, take a lane, you know?
He's giving you the whole rundown of you know. It's quiet uptown. He's singing it.
Right. He's singing all of it.
He's singing it. It's quiet uptown.
Because there's this line.
Did you
there's
know?
This line in. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say
Oh,
something?
go ahead. Finish.
There's this line where Audrey's character is like, I know what you're trying to razzle dazzle this town. And like after it cut, she's like, I was trying to do like the razzle dazzle hands. And Paul's like, a razzle dazzle, what's that from? And they're like, Chicago. And he's like, what? And he's seen Chicago. He told me he's seen Chicago. So, but sometimes you don't know if Paul is actually playing dumb or if he's just trying to like poke you.
100%.
And it's funny. Me and Paul go even way further back. This is
I maybe have this on your
question
because I totally dove your Instagram.
Tell us that story.
Okay, this is so. I actually I should go get the magazine, but I don't want to. It's somewhere in my closet. But
are they LL Bean?
Yeah, so I used to collect and kind of really cherish my mom's LL Bean catalogs growing up. I love the aesthetics. I love people hanging out on a dock wearing flannel and with their golden retriever. I love the feeling it gave. So I would sometimes cut out a lot of the pictures and stuff. So then in 10th grade, we had an art project where we had to make a ink stamp where we had to like carve out of rubber an image that was Christmassy. So I picked an image from LL Bean, and obviously it took like a few days. So I really studied this guy's face, and it really sunk in. I was like, this guy's a good face.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, I started seeing him in like a toothpaste commercial, and then I was like, I think that's the L.L. Bean guy. And a few years later, I was like, he's on this Canadian series, and then all of a sudden he became Hallmark's Prince, and I learned his name, and I was like, Paul Green, that's the L.L. Bean model. It's like, and I have all these like, it's so funny. He's saved in my phone with his old L.L. Bean model photo because that's how I think of him.
Perfect.
And he was in my movie Christmas CEO. I gotta show you this. And he sent he had the producers, because I didn't get to go to set for that one. He sent an L.L. Bean, and then he signed it. He said, "May all your Christmases be white. Love, Paul Green."
Okay, way to go, Paul. Nailed the present. Nailed it.
Nailed it, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
like, and I know, and now knowing him, I know the "May all your Christmases be white" was a pun on my last name. Like
Yeah.
I just now I know, like that's just who Paul is. So
100%. So, okay, also on your Instagram, you have a picture of your stamp that you made.
Yes.
Next to Paul Green's picture. Do
Yeah.
you still have that stamp?
I don't have the stamp, but my mom has a bunch of the prints.
Okay.
Yes.
That's amazing. Because as somebody who stamps, I'm like, that was a good stamp. You made a nice stamp.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like one of those units you take in like sophomore art class or whatever.
Right,
you know?
right. And did you get a good grade on that stamp? Because
I'm sure I always got an A in art.
Yeah, right.
That's a brag.
The artsy kids. Yeah.
Those creative
weirdos. We run, I love that. No, it's spectacular. And I'm like, I wonder if she sells that stamp, because I'm like, you could really actually color pencil that, or there's this thing where you take the marker and pick it up with the solvent, and then you fill it in, and you could stamp it and then emboss it, and it would be perfect. It would be,
and then
it's got thick lines. I need the stamp now.
You know what? Maybe it might be somewhere in my parents' house. I'll have to. I mean, my mom likes to keep all my old art stuff, so maybe somewhere
in your mom's,
in my mom and dad's house is the rubber stamp, the original.
Right.
And that would be cool if I got it back out. I mean, Paul loves that story too. He told it at like Christmas con. Like it's so sweet.
No, it's a great story. And then I'm like, wait, that stamp is actually really good. You got the hair flip in the front and the whole shebang.
Yeah, the little, you know.
But that's just cool, because now he's been in 2 of your movies.
Now he's in 2 of my
movies.
movies.
Made a rubber stamp of him at what, 15?
Yeah.
And he starred in 2 of your movies.
Isn't that like so weird?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's like one of those things in life, like you just like, you don't know. So anyone out there collecting anything, any pictures of models, you might work with them later.
That's the point of this story.
I guess that's the moral of the story.
But I think actually there's something in this world that I don't have in the healthcare world, and that's connections. So connections lead to the next thing. So like Jacqueline Collier, she was like, wait a minute, I know I love this writer, right? And then all of a sudden this project is happening just because she was like, hey, you two should talk to each other, right?
Yeah, that's why it's just all connection.
Yeah.
And I wish that was in more other places than just the industry.
It's hard in healthcare. I mean, that just can't happen really there. And so, but I love it. We do this podcast because we love talking with people and making those connections, and we love like how things work. And so it's just very interesting to me. And so it's like you had that connection at 15, and here you are 2 movies later.
It's crazy. And
sang with Paul and everything.
And the other day I was in line to get ice cream, and he called me because he had a TV idea, and like just like I would have never thought of that would ever happen. If
you could have told yourself when you were younger, Paul Green would randomly call you when you were younger.
Yeah, that model, he has a name.
And then you made a stamp of him. He's going to call you because he has a TV idea. So how's the TV idea coming?
We'll work on some stuff. It's very Paul.
Okay. I just have to read
very Paul. Very Paul.
She says, I'd like to talk to Paul about canola oil.
Canola oil.
Exactly what I would talk to him about.
Paul's really good about eating healthy, and he does not order anything with canola oil.
that's why she's making that joke. And then we have lots of comments about your friend's mug. Everybody likes it.
Oh yes, it's the Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's my coffee mug.
Yeah.
Nice scene. And then Stephanie says now she's not getting rid of her Andrew Walker towel.
Don't keep it forever. You never know.
Never get rid of the towel, right?
I love that. Also, why does she have an Andrew Walker towel? But maybe that's something.
Tell it, Sarah.
He's a fan group at Rama Drama. I don't know if you've heard of Rama Drama.
I have.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll go.
Yeah. So they were giving away like, I don't know what kind of towels, like not a tea towel, but like a
Hand towel, like a touchdown towel,
like a little towel, like a and it had like Andrew's face.
Yeah, cherish that. I was thinking like she snuck into his shower and got his shower towel. I was like,
Stephanie that maybe do that.
That might be something separate and something else you should get help with. But that's cute. That's cute.
Stephanie might also have that towel. I'm just saying.
Yes. He said, I'm sure he wiped his brow with it. Or a rally towel. Yeah, like a rally towel.
Oh, yeah. No, that's less creepy.
A little bit.
It's a lot less creepy. Okay. I actually have more movie questions. Did you know who was going to be in the movie besides Amanda? Or did that all like flow?
That was totally serendipitous because it's so funny because when I was writing this character Griffin, I didn't picture Paul. Right. This is such a cool thing about collaboration and kind of keeping an open mind of writing. And so, but one of the producers' top 3 picks was Paul because since Amanda was American, we had to have a Canadian actor. And so we were looking at a bunch of Canadian actors and they sent in a bunch of auditions and I was like, oh, I mean, I love Paul Green. He can do anything. He could be in it, but I never thought of him for Griffin. And then Amanda met with a few of the top picks and stuff. And then CBS had the final say and they loved Paul's vibe. So really it was all CBS that kind of got Paul in. And then Paul comes to set and he adds such humor to this character. And like, so it was so like the way he would say lines just became even more funny. And like, I was like, how did I not think of Paul the whole time? So it was really one of those, serendipitous moments that I'm so grateful for because then him and Amanda had insane chemistry. Like I was just like, sometimes I forget I was watching a movie I wrote. I'm like, oh my God, I hope they end up together. I was like, oh,
perfect. And so I also love a story that kind of has a more push-pull to it. I love that, like, it's that like tension. Yeah, no, but yeah, we can't stay apart. We keep our like doing this, right?
Oh my God. The best romantic comedies are when they hate each other at the beginning. Yeah. If they start out liking each other, it breaks my heart.
Right. Then it's like not a comedy. It's a different. It's like
story, and it's kind of, you don't have anywhere to go like in your art, you know.
Right. So because unless you're writing a completely different story, then you're writing this like whatever it is, this love story of their travel or whatever it is.
Right.
But if it's a romantic comedy, I like a little more sass and a little more
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
100%. It's more fun.
Right. A lot more fun.
Do you ever actually write with like an actor or in mind or like kind of the vibe you want that actor to have? Or are you just kind of so into the characters you're not thinking about that since you might not even know, where the movie's going or whatever?
That's a really good question. I kind of sometimes do both. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little stuck, I'll cast it in my head. Mm-hmm. Now I'll usually cast it with people who probably would never do a Christmas movie. Oh, okay. A lot of the characters I write, I imagine Rachel McAdams starring in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah. Like I just like, and then it just like I just like this warmth and like zest and not lemon zest, but I'll sometimes make a vision board or like I wrote this teen horror script that I really like and I hope one day someone buys it. But there's so many different characters that I kind of just cast it with like teens of right now who are big and like in my head. So sometimes I do. And obviously for this one, I knew Amanda. I was like, Amanda, you're going to star in this. And she's like, well, I hope so. And so I had her in mind for the character the whole time. Which is great because she was a fitness instructor and still is. And this character is a fitness instructor. And so that's actually where she helped me a lot in some of the dialogue. Is I don't know fitness lingo. My workout involves walking to Starbucks every day. So that was helpful to have someone who's an actual fitness instructor be an executive producer and be the character. And you'll see that it comes through, like we'd be filming a dance scene, and she just has all the endurance and all the energy in the world, and the background people are like, you know, and like, and so it's like it helped a lot.
I love that that she's just like, this is just like my everyday.
She's like, yeah, let's do it again, like, come on. And like and she ended up teaching a class up in Vancouver while I was there, and she's like, you got to come. And I was like, I was like, I've seen you on filming, like it's hardcore. And it was very hardcore. And she doesn't really let you take a water break because it kind of messes up the flow. Okay. And I kept up. Let's just say I kept up.
Okay, that's the only goal if you're walking in as like a newbie into a class, right?
Yes. You're like, I just want to be on my feet the whole time
and not fall down. Let's not fall down. Let's not drop anything.
I was hoping Jax was going to be in the workout scenes.
And she originally was
hysterical.
She actually is so funny. So once the movie got greenlit, and she knew like MPCA and that those people, because they did One Calls the Heart, and she did some stuff for them. So she even before this, she let them know, like, you know, it'd be cool for her to have a cameo, and I wanted her to have a cameo because she's the whole reason the movie exists. And so I wrote in like a character that was in the exercise class, and because of just all the Canadian tax actor guild, there's so many rules about it that budget wise it wouldn't make sense to have an American actor be in this many days of shooting, blah 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 blah. So she now is just on the town council, but she's still featured, and I wrote some great puns for her and Paul to say.
Perfect.
Because I love a good pun, and I was like, they can't cut this out.
Yes, we'll be there for the town council puns for sure.
Oh my god, good, good.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah, there's when you're filming in Canada, there's rules about percentage of people involved who have to be Canadian, right? So
and it's also because we had so Amanda Klute's son Elvis, who's just the cutest little boy. I wrote a little part in there for Elvis in a very early draft because I was like, oh, he'll probably be up there. It'd be really cute. And it was interesting because just having him say a line or whatever, I had to then add a Canadian character with equal lines. So there's a character in the beginning that just says, "Hey, what's up?" And like just so we could get like Elvis and Jackie in the movie. It was so interesting, all the different roles and stuff. Guilds.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Right. I know that's it's a big deal because so much is filmed in Canada.
Yeah, they don't want you to take away any Canadian people's jobs, and it's, you know, it's for their economy, and it makes a lot of sense. It's just
weird.
I wish we could all just be in each other's movies and not have all that, but you know, whatever.
All those rules, right? All those rules. Right? So you talked a little bit about planning to executive produce. You really enjoyed doing that. Yes. Do you have anything in the works yet that you'll be involved in?
Well, we started getting our pitch ready for hopefully another Christmas movie, but I'm so afraid to jinx it because it's very up in the air right now. So definitely want that. And then I'm developing with another person who actually Amanda introduced me to, who I would then be an executive producer. So I'm hoping this credit sticks around. I know sometimes it's, you know, tricky for because different networks might have different rules, and it all matter with negotiation. And if I'm a writer for a hire for something else, they probably won't also make me an exec producer. So I definitely, hopefully, will have irons in the fire where I can do both.
Right. So many little rules. So many little rules.
So many rules. So many. I know. It's like you've got to play their game.
Amanda introduced you to somebody else, and now you got a project going with that. It's that whole right? It's crazy to me. I very much enjoy the connections, and it's really how we moved along podcasting, because first Paul came on, and then Andrew came on, and then you know, like it's
like, and the Christmas podcast world is so like, I feel like, and you guys on the conventions, like you guys are all together and like,
Right. We all know each other. We have a
everyone,
chat going.
yeah, and I love that. Like it's such a great community, and the Christmas podcast community that's now like gone out and you guys review different movies, and like I love it. So
yeah, it's fun. It's like a little community, like you said, and I think most of us are all very supportive and help each other out however we can. So it's a lot of fun. But I want to know, do you have a dream project?
Oh my God, I have a million dream projects.
Okay, let's hear them.
I mean, it would be cool to one day win an Oscar and the same year have a Christmas movie. I think that's going to be one of the biggest goals. I don't think anyone's ever done that. No one's ever been like, wow, she wrote that Oscar award-winning movie, and oh my God, this year it's Christmas in the Mountain Lake. You know, like I that's one of my goals in life. So I have this idea of like this really like epic World War II love drama that I think could be Oscar, but I have to actually sit down and write it.
Those kinds of
I love those. I love those epic. Like, oh my God, Titanic's my favorite movie. So my hope is to one day do something on par in magnitude, in budget, in fan love, in romance as Titanic.
Yeah, that was epic. That came out when I was a sophomore in high school. And or maybe going into my sophomore. Anyway, we used to have the whole movie memorized.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? Sometimes I'll be
all
writing.
over our binders.
Sometimes I'll be writing and I'll be like, where did that line come from? And I'm like, oh my God, that's the line from Titanic. Delete.
Okay, whatever. You were memorizing lines from Titanic, and I memorized lines from heavy metal bands. Okay. But
I love it. And now you guys host together. And that's the beauty of these podcasts.
It's so true.
Right.
So true.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't. So with that said, we very much have a household that spews lines from movies just continuously. So
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, right. If you say 4:30, you're going to get the entire Grinch monologue from my one son.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. 5 o'clock exercise.
Well, I love when people, because I don't always get songs stuck in my head. I'll get movie quotes stuck in my head, and and so I love that. It happens all the time.
That's spectacular that you had to like delete a line because you're like, wait, that's from the Titanic.
Well, there's so many great ones like You Jump, I Jump. I mean,
yes.
like stuff like that, or like I know how the world works. I'm not crazy. Like there's things that work for almost any character in a love situation that you're like, why does that sound so familiar?
It's Titanic.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'd never write, I put the diamond in the coat. I put the coat on her. That doesn't come out.
Now I'm waiting for it to show up. Come on, let's go.
Right. I was like, how can I work that in
the coat? I put the coat on her. Like, just change it a little bit. Like, people would have to know. And they'd be like, what?
People would be like, what? Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't remember anything anymore. I have mom brain.
Oh.
Literally.
How old are your kids? When are you going to show them Titanic?
Oh, well, my daughter's going to be 13 this summer, so maybe like a little bit after that.
Okay.
There's a little nudity in that.
Maybe a little after that. I have a 12 and a half, a 9 and a half, and a 5-year-old. So.
Aw. Well, in my eyes, they can all watch Titanic. I'm just kidding. That's not appropriate for all.
So they would never sit through it.
It is long. It is long.
I don't know. My kids as toddlers all sat through Fiddler on the Roof. Speaking of,
I love Fiddler on the Roof.
They all watch Hamilton. They all sit through Hamilton.
Right. All sat through that. Yeah. No. They could all.
And you have to like with this TikTok and these short spans. You got to like implement these longer movies so they just understand art.
The one that's been done is The Parent Trap, the Lindsay Lohan.
Oh my God.
Oh, so good. So good.
Love that. I mean, that one's so
the original. But she likes
the Haley Mills one too.
Yeah, the Haley Mills one, right? Which I grew up watching that one.
It's so funny because like I watched The Parent Trap nonstop when I was little, the younger, the Lindsay Lohan, and I watched it like when you watch it as an adult, it's so weird that those parents are totally fine separating twins and never seeing them again.
You take one, I'll take one.
You take one, I'll take one, and I'll never see my kid again.
And we won't talk to each other, and they'll not know about each other, and we won't talk to them. I don't ever want to see that other child again. It's so,
and like
the premise is
just
bad.
like accept it when we're watching it, but when you think about it, that's like such a huge disconnect and like very unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a big no. It's a big no.
Yeah.
But you know what? The Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap also has the gal who's like the evil gonna be the stepmom, but then
yes,
that woman is so spectacular in that movie, by the way. Like,
yeah.
You really don't like her.
No, and the lizard gag and everything. Yeah.
They send her floating out into the lake.
Oh God, that is such a good movie.
Under the not believable at all, but
it's
it's still just as good. And my husband and I were both like, "Oh, we forgot how cute this movie was," you know. Like,
right.
And it has a great soundtrack and everything. Yeah,
it does have a great soundtrack.
No,
there's always some movie from every kiddom that's always very good, right? Right. I don't know. Maybe you should write a great kiddom movie too.
I would love that too. That would be great. It's so funny. Me and Amanda have this idea for this animated movie that maybe one day we'll do. So
really,
yeah. I don't want to say more because in case.
No. I love hearing about like all. I love that that also that you like to write like from horror to.
Oh yeah, I love everything.
Movie of the week.
I love it as long as there's a love story in it.
Okay, that's interesting. Right, that there's always got to be like
and so actually, I wish there was more horror love stories, and I think that's. You asked me what else. One day I want to do a really good horror love story.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, is that the title of the movie? A horror love story?
Horror love. I mean, it would get a bunch of eyes on it. That's for sure.
I'm just saying that sounds like it totally sounds like I can picture the poster right now.
And there's like, is it like they're holding each other, but then there's blood?
Blood, yes, and then the horror is dripping also.
Yeah.
Story, right? Like in like some pretty love story.
Yeah, you could be a movie poster.
I maybe do a lot of our Canva edits.
You have the eye. You have the eye for it.
I have thoughts about these things. I can see the poster now. I can picture it. Let's go.
I'm
gonna
make the poster.
Come to you, Julie.
Yeah, stamp. So it has to be made out of. Like you have to stamp it.
Oh yeah, it has to be a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so good.
That would be really cool.
You know the Take on Me video where it's like black and white and then it's like kind of comes on there. That would be so cool, like for a clip.
Did you see Paul do the Take on Me
there's
TikTok?
a filter on Instagram. I maybe grew up watching that when that rolled out live, so you know, whatever.
I love it.
Clearly, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Take on Me? Oh gosh, well, whatever. I just about knocked my
you know that song like Take on Me?
Yeah.
So the whole music video is like sketches. It's like just people drawings. And then so Paul Green did a filter that made him look like a sketch drawing.
Oh, I missed the
So that's how the video looked, and they would go in and out of the sketch. And at the time, there was no such thing as filters. They had to have an animator do all that. It was a very cool deal, right?
Right.
So, there was some amazing back when we used to watch MTV because there was actually
music videos
on MTV, right? One of the things they say, how old are you? I went to my girlfriend's house, who is now my sister-in-law, for a party to watch Thriller release on MTV.
That's
pretty
old.
It was a party.
Right? Like when that was like, I mean, and that's the cool thing is like you couldn't miss it. Like you couldn't record it, you couldn't DVR it, you couldn't watch it the next day online. You had to be there. And like there's something really amazing about that.
Oh yeah. The popcorn is out. We were drinking sugar soda. We were in.
That. Like right? I kind of miss having sometimes a TV show or a movie or a special as an excuse to not go do something. Right? Because like Thursdays at 8 when Friends was on and I'd be like, no, I'm not
watching Friends.
I would go to my friend's house. That was like a standing date. We're watching Friends, and we would take turns.
Right.
And we would have wine and whatever, and we would watch Friends.
Yeah. I'm just thinking though, I would have loved to have live tweeted Friends as it was.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
So much fun.
That would have been fun. I mean, I think once the were they on a break, were they not on a break would be the most interesting for Twitter because everyone would have their 2 cents.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad it wasn't around though, because then we got to really just be in the moment, be with our friends.
And then you had to talk about it. You couldn't just like
Yeah.
tweet about it. You had to have full conversations. Over here, Niner Girls there's a VHS tape at my dad's house with the Thriller video stuff. It's like,
I love that.
go put her into the VHS player, right? Oh my gosh, we could all do the Thriller, Dad. Okay, yeah, no, that was like a lot of fun, Yeah, and then let's write a movie about MTV.
There you go. MTV is like, I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. Especially like I loved Real World and Road Rules, and that kind of fizzled. I was just talking about that with someone today.
Okay.
Yeah. And TRL, like I remember.
Oh my God, TRL, Carson Daly.
Yeah.
Right.
He later had a radio show here in LA. And when I was a post PA, so it was before I was a writer's PA, it was post PA. So it was a lot of post production stuff. So I would have to pick up dailies and take them to different places. So I was always in my car. So I was always listening to Carson Daly. And every day in the morning, he gave away an iPad. And so every day for a year, I called and I finally won.
No way!
On my way to pick up dailies for the short-lived Charlie's Angels remake that only aired 4 episodes.
Okay. Oh, I do remember that though. But then there it went. 4 whole episodes. But you won an iPad?
I won an iPad from Carson Daly. I mean, now I gotta say this. This is gonna sound like just a humble brag, but I've also I knew as a PA I was gonna need a car, and I knew cars were expensive. So actually, my senior year of college, I won a car on The Price is Right.
No way, you were on The Price is Right?
I was on The Price is Right.
Spectacular. So did you win it as the early game when you get the car, or did you win it in the final?
No, I didn't make it to the showcase. I was like an inch away from $1 when I did the wheel.
Oh.
Luckily, I was the first game up. Luckily, everyone bid way below me, which was funny because it was closest to without going over, and my bid was kind of low, but everyone. And I was the first to bid lower as like an Xbox and all these games and stuff. So I got on stage and then I played this game called Switcheroo where they take different prizes and they take out a number and you have to switch them. And one of the prizes was a car. And so I won it and I still drive it. And it's like, I never want to not drive it. So no matter what happens, I just take it into the shop. I'm like, oh, it needs a new transmission. I'm not getting rid of this car.
I won it on The Price is Right.
Yeah, I was like,
come on down.
Was there?
Did somebody like record you? Like, do you have video evidence?
I have a very grainy, because this was 2009, 2010 of recording of it, of recording it off the TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so I have it on my Facebook. I'll have to send it to you guys.
Is it on your MySpace?
Awesome.
It's back on my MySpace.
Everything is on my MySpace from back then.
Right? Oh my God, I wonder if my MySpace still exists.
I think I remembered like what my login was, or like.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
No
It's
one
lost.
knows. There's like MySpace stuff out there, and where is it being held?
Yeah, it's like the forgotten land of.
What song did I have up? That's what
Right?
I.
Yeah. What was the last song I had before I was over it?
Yeah, before I joined Facebook.
I feel like MySpace is a time capsule for like everybody, like where they were at that moment, and if they could ever get in, you'd be like unpacking your time capsule.
Yes, like that's 2005 for you.
I bet there's like all bunch of wedding pictures like from my friends, because like that's when phones like were just getting cameras and stuff. So I remember being on my honeymoon and we had to check MySpace to see like the pictures our friends had.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Because that was 2006. Yeah.
Hopefully you have other copies and they're not just all up on MySpace.
Well, all the candids are probably up on MySpace, but I mean, like I have like our album.
Oh, okay.
Again.
Oh my God! But now I kind of want you to go look back.
I know. I need to go find it. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
We need the
I'll do
MySpace.
a MySpace deep dive.
Do it. I love it.
The MySpace candids. No, for sure. Okay, I actually want to ask a writer question. Do you have a favorite type of scene to write? Like, is there something you're like, oh, this is my favorite type of scene?
I mean, I love the meet cute.
Yeah.
Right. That's just thinking of different ways for people to bump into each other and drop stuff is my favorite thing in the whole world. And then that, and then of course, I think the last scene, the kiss is my favorite. And anytime I'm about to watch, or anytime I'm about to write the final kiss scene, I watch my favorite final kiss scene, which is Drew Barrymore, Never Been Kissed.
Yeah.
She's coming down the stadium steps.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys' Don't Worry Baby comes in. It's my favorite final kiss. So I think those are the two scenes I love the most is the meet cute and then the final.
I love a great meet cute. Like, and there's like how many ways can you make it?
You've written
Well, the one in
Fit
Fit for Christmas is really cute, and they do a really good job. She drops a bunch of Christmas decorations. I'm trying to think of, I have one that never I have in an early draft of Christmas CEO, there was an elevator one that I really liked, but we went a different direction, so that never came to pass.
You still have that. Do you keep ideas organized so you can pull and prompt yourself?
Oh, totally. I have all my old files and everything. And that was funny. Actually, I left my computer. I have it backed up, but I left my computer at this bagel place the other day, and I panicked. I was like, "That's my livelihood."
Right.
It was fine. They saved it for me. But
thank you, bagel place.
And they reminded me I gotta do a new backup soon. But
it's when you remember when something bad happens,
right. It's oh yeah, this is
backed anything up in a year and a half.
Everyone back up. This is your reminder.
It's your annual reminder. Everyone back up your computer before Christmas time.
Yes.
Get all those photos backed up. All that kind of
Get your MySpace page back up.
Your MySpace page back up. All that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, amazing. Hey, we should play a little quick favorites game.
Ooh, I love a game.
Right? So let's just start right out with the one no one can answer. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, well, it's always a tie for Titanic or Pleasantville.
Oh.
Well,
yeah. And
favorite.
What?
I feel like that's an interesting pick.
It is. I think it's because they get sucked into the TV show.
Yeah.
And there's something that when I saw it as a kid, I was just so amazed by it, because getting sucked into, think about it. This is why this is why Hallmark, this is why Christmas movies, this is why you guys, the podcast exists, is because we want to escape into these things, right? And we think, what would it be like if that was our life? Things are easy. The biggest problem is you don't have enough time to paint, or you've got to remind yourself of the meaning of Christmas. That, we want that. And so I feel like Pleasantville did such a good job capturing that, but then saying, well, be careful what you wish for, because without the bad and without the stress of life, you won't appreciate the good and the beauty. So I think about Pleasantville all the time. So it depends on the day of the week if Titanic or Pleasantville is a favorite. If I'm feeling very romantic, or if I'm feeling very cerebral, it depends. But it's funny because I hate when people can't answer my favorite movie, because there's so many, right? So I actually sat down and I made a list of my top 10 in case it ever came up.
Well, there you go. Hey, throw us a couple more that would be on your list.
Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Shout out Rachel McAdams.
Yep.
Come on.
Again.
Uh-huh.
You've Got Mail. You've Got Mail is my favorite.
Okay. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and right?
So good.
When she's sick in bed and he comes,
and it's just
they're so close, but you're just
I love that movie so much. I consider it a Christmas movie, even though it's not.
Right.
Seasonal movie, right?
It feels. It's a year. I think they tell a story in the span of a year, but I feel like there's a focus on Christmas, because that's when the shop closes.
Yep.
Right.
Back to the Future.
Oh gosh, yes. Everything about that is spectacular. There's maybe way too much Back to the Future at this house. So.
Oh, good. Oh, I love it. It was so funny. So the other day, I was with Amanda. We were having dinner, and we both realized that we kind of love Back to the Future 3 the most. Which it gets a bad rep.
At least it's not 2. At least it's not 2.
2 is cool because of the way they have to tell 2 different stories at once while redoing 1.
Right.
But it's not as fun as, in my opinion, as 3, where you're in the Old West.
Right. Yeah, because the costuming also in 3 is spectacular.
It's so good. And that's actually, it's so funny because I said there has yet to be a Western Christmas. So that's put that on the list of projects I want to do one day.
I like it.
Well, yeah, these are all good movies. These are all good movies. These are all good movies.
What about your favorite show as a kid, like TV show?
Sorry, I'm getting over a cold, and now, of course, when I want to talk about all this, there's a tickle. Hold on. Oh my God, so many favorite TV shows. Obviously, Friends. I said that.
Yeah.
But in 7th grade, I remember. So I loved, like, as a kid, I watched Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman with Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain, and I loved it. And my dad's a huge DC comic nerd guy, so I grew up just loving Superman. So when they said this, when they announced Smallville was going to be his origin story, this is going to give you my exact age, but I was in 7th grade, and I was like, Mom, Dad, there's this new show tonight. It's called Smallville. I really want to watch it. And they're like, you have to get your homework done first. And I just like didn't do that. So I remember sneaking in, to the guest room and watching Smallville, the pilot on that. And it was my favorite TV show. I loved it. Fast forward to season 8, I got to intern in the writer's office, Smallville.
Oh,
Yes.
And it was like a dream come true. Like, I could not believe I got to go, and there's one day where they just let me sit in the room all day. And I was like, I can't believe these people get to talk about my favorite characters for 10 hours. I didn't think, oh my God, they're overworked because they have to work 10 hours. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool.
So cool, yes.
And like still today, I'm still friends with some of the people I met there, and they remember me as the optimistic intern that was like skipping down the halls. And like, I was just like, I could not believe I got to work on my favorite TV show. So anyway, Smallville
happens for everybody, so that's amazing. Yeah,
I feel very lucky, and it didn't ruin it for me. Like, I still loved it. If anything, it made me want to be a writer even more. It gave me a little bit of a false sense of, oh, you can be a writer, because I was like gonna graduate in a year. I was like, oh, just be a writer on Smallville. That's how it works, right? And it's like,
that's how it works.
Not at all how it works, Anna. And fast forward 8 years later, I finally got paid for a script. So learning, right?
Yeah, that you know what? Everyone's got to learn. Everyone has their own path.
Exactly.
Stay optimistic. Hey, favorite food, both healthy and indulgent.
I have one that kind of works as both, depending. I love a good chicken Caesar salad.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it could be more on the healthier spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it could be just like that dressing and like the
so much Parmesan
and the croutons.
Yep.
So I'm always, whenever I go somewhere new, I like to look for the best chicken Caesar salad in that town. So as far as like favorite foods, that's it. Lately with this cold, I've been just like craving Cheez-Its.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
So you never know, but definitely if a gun to my head, someone's like, what's your favorite food? I'd be like, chicken Caesar salad.
I hope you throw that into a script too.
I'm looking for chicken Caesar salad in your next script.
I should.
You should throw that in there for sure.
And then, but only you guys and the people who listen to this will know.
I'll tweet about it for sure, though, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%.
What about a favorite vacation location?
So this is funny because I've never been to Maine, but because of the LL Bean catalogs, I have this fantasy that Maine is the perfect place.
Oh, well, the big LL Bean store. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. So right now, as far as fantasy vacations, I imagine a small town in Maine. I'd go visit the lighthouses. I eat at the diner that just has amazing eggs. So so far, like in fictional hypothetical world, it's Maine. In real life, I've had some great actual vacations too. I would say my most recent favorite was my dad had a conference in Liverpool, and I'm a huge Beatles fan. Okay. So in 2019, right before the pandemic, he's like, hey, I have this conference in Liverpool. I was like, I'm coming. And I just did like every single Beatles tour. I got to go to like John and Paul's houses. I did the Magic Mystery tour. I went all over. It was just like, to me, it was so cool and so surreal to be in the same space where like, I think some of the most creative people in the world were creating. So, and I love England in general. Had ordered fish and chips a lot. So I think that was probably my favorite. Yeah. And it's so funny because like the other people at my dad's conference were like, I can't believe they chose Liverpool. Cause it's overcast and rainy and whatever. They're like, oh, there's so many beautiful places in Europe. And I was like, That's the reason I'm here.
That's super fun though when you get to do something like something you really love and I'm just gonna go geek out about that. You guys can go do something else. I don't care, right?
Yes,
Conference.
I loved it. And it was so funny because I listened to like the Beatles Sirius XM station and they have so much interesting facts about that. So when I was taking the tour and we were inside Paul's house and she was asking and everyone in the tour was way older than me. And she was asking this, I kept answering the questions and stuff. She's like, how old are you? How do you know all this stuff about the Beatles? I was like, Sirius XM and my parents.
Right. No, you were raised well.
Yes.
Shout out to your parents. What do you do for a hobby or activity that's not writing?
That's so funny because today I was like, I need to get back into hobbies because I realize I need an output, but I love like art and creation, and I used to do a lot of like I like to cartoon sculptures. Here's a cartoon sculpture.
Oh my
just
god!
Like a 1940s newspaper guy.
I love him. He's perfect.
Right? And so I need to get back into doing more of those. I think I don't know where I did a hedgehog. So I miss ceramics and clay. I got to do more of that. I have guitars, but people say I'm tone impaired. So it's really for my own benefit. No one wants to hear me do it. But yes, those are probably the only, I used to do a lot of sports. I used to do, and then I've done like kickball and flag football here in oh my God, poker. I play poker every couple weeks.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
My main hobby, gambling.
This is perfect. It's perfect. And you were on a kickball league? Did I just hear that?
Yes, I did. I did one this past spring. That was pretty fun. I'm good at it. I'm not amazing. Yeah. We'll see if I do it again.
My son just finished up his kickball season.
Oh, nice. Kickball's really big. Did he have fun?
No, if you're in your 20s, everyone is playing kickball, man. They have like 15 teams in the Minneapolis system.
Oh, wow. And like now there's tournaments where they can win money.
Right. No, there was like huge tournaments. And so there's like levels to different leagues. There's like this league's more the rec league. And then this is like, traveling baseball league of kickball, right?
Yeah, it gets really intense and a little bit culty.
More than a little bit. It's just like, oh man. It's like, should I go play with the traveling guys or should I just
Right? Yeah. And then it's like a commitment. No, it's funny because a lot of the girls on my team were kind of like they play multiple teams. This was just the rec league, and they're like, "Oh, you got to join the team where we're traveling." I was like, "I'm good."
No, that's exactly kickballs. It's literally. I said this just sounds like traveling baseball all over again. He's like, "Yep, pretty much, right?"
But it's fun. Like, did you watch a lot of the games? Did you go?
I didn't. He's in downtown Minneapolis, and I work a lot of weird hours, and But I told him. Next year I'm coming to, like, at first he didn't say that he was doing the kickball league. And then he's like, wait, I'm deep into this kickball league. And then,
and he's like, now I'm changing my name to kickball.
Right. And then I'm just like, cause you have so much time for this, right? But he doesn't, whatever. Okay. But I love that you have all those hobbies and I'm going to watch for your clay. You need more clay.
Yeah, I need to get back into it. I did a claymation. I used to do a lot of like little claymation shorts too. I have a lot of interests.
No, that's like, but it's a creative outlet, and you can film it and you can script it. So let's go.
I mean, Tim Burton made it started his whole career with that.
Out of it. Come on, right? Claymation, it's a thing, right? We all know.
Very true. All right, so you already answered our other questions.
Oh,
band singer, right? Favorite band singer,
Beatles, right?
Beatles,
right.
Or
we're
Billy
gonna
Joel.
answer for you.
It's
the Beatles. Who did you say?
Billy Joel.
Nice. Because you want to know what I have like literally sitting right here?
What? Oh, nice! Oh my God!
I'm gonna redo my wall. I'm gonna put albums on my wall.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
What's your favorite song from that one? Huh?
What's
Favorite
your
song from this
song?
one? Oh, this whole album, like if you don't know, this album is
I have so many of his greatest hits, so I don't know.
okay. So You May Be Right's on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes a Fantasy. Don't Ask Me Why. I really like Don't Ask Me Why.
I do too.
It's still rock and roll to me.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Right. No, that's all. That's like side
That's all.
A. Right. No, it's a great album. It was like top, for forever. Glass Houses. This is Glass Houses.
Oh yes. I know that.
Because there's literally a glass house on it, and that's the name of the album. And then the back is fantastic because it's through the broken window. Billy Joel's broken window.
That's a good album cover.
No, it's spectacular, but even better is the outfits they're wearing on the cover. Like there's like,
oh my god, that's so 80s.
It's
early 80s.
And then of course, like any good 1980s album, all the words are on the sleeve of the cover.
Treasure that.
No, I do, and you can, and I, well, maybe sat here and read the sleeve like forever and ever and ever. But
I love it.
Yeah, I think actually my brother purchased me this album because my brother had a lot of music. We had good stereo equipment, and
yeah, I was like, "Would you just toss it across the room?"
I tossed it on the bed.
The most prized possession you're holding and showing us, you're like, and then
it's an incredibly fluffy queen bed that's completely abandoned. This is my daughter's abandoned bedroom, right?
Oh.
So, so there's a queen bed with very fluffy comforter, girly fluff on it. That's where it went.
Phew.
That sure got tossed too.
So funny. All right. Well, we've had you for so long, and I feel like we could talk to you forever. So please come back.
Anytime. Oh, of course. I'd love to.
We'd love to have you. And everybody watch Fit for Christmas on December 4th. Around 8 or 8:30.
It's scheduled at 8:30.
Just watch football. Watch the end of football to make sure. Just have it on.
Just have it on.
You know what? Turn on the TV at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
It'll come on. They'll finish the game. It won't go into triple overtime or anything. Right. Okay.
Eventually you'll see it.
Thanks for joining us. And then stay here for a minute while we end the broadcast when we can say bye to everyone. We'll talk to you afterwards.
Well, thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
You bet.